107.5 Chilliwack,
92.5 Abbotsford, and 104.9 Vancouver.
all the hits of the 90s and 2000s.
This is Kiss.
We got up early to enjoy the sights early before the heat got too intense.
In Greece, the concern is not only for human health, but the environment. Authorities issued a Category 4 fire risk alert for 6 regions, including the popular tourist destination of Crete. And Greece increased the number of firefighters to a record 18,000 this year in anticipation of a difficult wildfire season. Crystal Gamansing, CBC News, London.
The trial of Sean Diddy Combs is nearing its end. After 7 weeks of testimony, the Manhattan jury begins deliberations today. They will decide whether the 55-year-old is guilty on charges of sexual trafficking and racketeering. Jennifer Yoon has more on the trial so far.
This week, the 12 men and women on a New York jury will begin deciding the fate of Sean Diddy Combs. The music mogul once dominated the world of hip-hop and beyond. Now he's facing decades, even life behind bars. Combs is accused of sexual trafficking. Prosecutors said he forced women to have sex with male escorts in drug-fueled sex marathons that sometimes lasted for days. R&B singer and former longtime girlfriend Cassie Ventura testified she felt she didn't have a choice and said Combs physically and sexually abused her for years. Another woman, known publicly only as Jane, also said she felt forced to have sex with hired strangers as Combs watched. Prosecutors also accused Diddy of racketeering, using his business empire to carry out and cover up the alleged crimes. Combs' lawyers say the women participated willingly. Diddy did not take the stand. Catherine Christian worked as a prosecutor in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office for 30 years.
It's all going to be whether the jurors can actually believe that these people, were they forced or did they consent? Because that's what it's going to come down to.
The judge will give instructions to the jury today on the legal principles they must consider as they make their decision. The 12 men and women will have to come to a unanimous decision before reaching a verdict. Jennifer Yoon, CBC News, New York.
It is expected to be the busiest travel day this long weekend, but more than 200 flights have been delayed at Vancouver International Airport. NAV Canada attributes the delays to a shortage of air traffic controllers. Spokesperson Jonathan Bagg says they're working hard to train more air traffic controllers, but that process takes time.
That's a highly skilled position, 24 to 36 months of training that's delivered by NAV Canada to become a licensed controller.
Officials at Vancouver's airport say they are expecting almost 88,000 passengers to fly through this long weekend. Fluoride is returning to Calgary's drinking water supply after nearly 15 years, and there were debates and studies. The city held a plebiscite over the merits of putting fluoride into the water. Josh McLean has more from Calgary.
It won't taste any different, but starting today, there will be more fluoride in Calgary's tap water, with the goal of improving the dental health of its residents. It's not the first time. Calgary started putting fluoride in its water back in 1991, but 20 years later, City Council scrapped it when facing costly upgrades to the system. Councillor Giancarlo Corral voted to end the practice.
It was very much about cutting costs. It was about not doing things that are not a municipal responsibility.
Afterwards, studies showed more cavities in Calgary kids when compared to kids in Edmonton, where there was still fluoride in the water. By 2021, the issue was back on the ballot, and more than 60% of voters said they wanted fluoride back.
It was a mistake. I think the citizens voted for it, and I'm happy that we're putting it back in.
The new system will cost the city about $1 million per year. That money will come from residents' water bills. Dr. James Dickinson is with the group Calgarians for Kids Health.
This is fantastic news. This is really good news, particularly for the children of Calgary, but also for all ages, because fluoride makes a difference.
A 2022 report by Canada's Public Health Agency found just under 40% of the country's treated drinking water has fluoride. Josh McLean, CBC News, Calgary.
And that is the latest national and international news from World Report News Anytime, cbcnews.ca. I'm Marcia Young.
And a very good Monday morning to you. It is the 30th of June, the last day of June, the day before Canada Day, and I'm Stephen Quinn. This is the early edition on CBC Radio 1, broadcasting to Vancouver Island this morning as well as the Lower Mainland. Well, the Canadian flag has been interpreted in various ways in recent years. We are going to talk about its symbolism and what it represents today, especially given the situation with the United States. We're going to talk about that throughout the program this morning as we prepare for Canada Day. Right now, Drew Caracas is here from the CBC Vancouver newsroom.
It will be a busy day at Vancouver International Airport today with some 88,000 passengers expected. On the weekend, YVR was plagued by delays because of a shortage of available air traffic controllers. And at least two businesses boxes have been destroyed after a weekend fire in a commercial complex in Surrey. It started in a store with e-bikes, and the bike batteries made the fire more difficult to extinguish. More local news and regional news at 7:30. Samir Karim has your traffic and weather.
Yeah, there's still this crash in Surrey on 144th Street between 74th Avenue and 72nd. 144th Street is closed in both directions. We have a new stall. This is a stalled truck on Highway 17 that has the eastbound right lane blocked just before Elevator Road. Fraser Highway in Surrey is closed between 96th Avenue and 140th Street. And though most of the major routes pretty calm this morning, we are in the midst of this long weekend. And at the BC Bears, one sailing wait portion